Hello everyone. So in the previous video we learned to make this wig right here, and in this video I'm going to be showing you basic steps on how to make a wig and a perfect closure like a pro. So here it comes in 3 bundles and the longest is at 26 inches. So here I'm using a dump cap by Spandex and my mannequin head is 22 inches, about the exact size of my head. To begin, you start by highlighting the cap. So at the back side of my cap, I'm using my thumb for measurement. This thumb measurement is going to help to ease the confusion of making a straight wig and the confusion of gapping in a wig. So this is like a good measurement for easing that confusion. So at this point I went ahead to highlight it from the middle down to the front part of the cap. So this is how it should look, guys. This method will help you ease the stress on how to align your wig on your cap. So when I was getting to the front part of the wig, I reduced the gaps between them, and at this point I did a free sketch. As you all know, the front part is the most better part of the wig, so try to present it in the best way as possible. So after highlighting, I'm using my DIY wig for this cap. So here it comes in 3 bundles and I'm using the longer one at the back. The longer one should always be at the back, just in case you don't know. This will help your wig to look a lot longer. So I'm so excited to begin. So here is how it looks, guys. So if you haven't seen that video yet, then you pretty much need to do that. I'll leave a link up here and in my description box, so please go check that out. So here is what the front looks like, and this is what the back looks like. So I started with my needle already on my thread, and at this point I began to sew in. So here is what you don't want to do. You do not want to sew in this end like this. So all you have to do is to pull out the needle, not bringing it down to the end, and this usually works because it prevents the wig from being too tight. So with the description you see in this video is how I sewed my wig. So I sewed it in on the cap for about 2 times, and then I went ahead to add my makeup. So here at this point I began to sew. So I'm doing a normal sewing for every wig, typically every wig. And just in case you don't know how a normal sewing should be, then here is the description in the video. This highlighting process works effectively on the wig. As you can see, I am aligning it following the lines of the highlight. So I put on pins on the wig just to keep it from falling. And at this point I was feeling the wig. This is why I was moving it up and down. So I began to sew in. So as you sew in, you're making sure you're not leaving enough space between the cap, because this is going to make it tight at the end of the day. Try to sew it as close as possible. So as you can see in this video, I am not leaving enough space between the sewing. I am trying to sew it as close as possible. And at this point I am being so careful not to sew in the band along with the hair. So here I just picked it up from the top and I just looped in my thread and I just drag it out. So that is how a typical sew in looks like. So guys, everything used in this video is listed down in the description box below. Don't forget to check that out, and please don't forget to like my video, subscribe to my channel, click the notification bell, and leave your beautiful comments down below. Those comments will help me a lot to know what you think about this wig and what you think about my sewing so far. So this is what I'm talking about, guys. Check out the band, it is neat. So this is going to make my wig a lot loosed at this band part of the hair. So as I sew in, I proceed to this curvy part of the wig. You try as much as you can not to cut it. Well, you can cut it at this point because I've cut several of it and it works out so well, but at this point I am just rotating it backwards, then I am sewing it in accordingly. So because this is a braid and is a lot fuller than a normal wig, I'm jumping one line at a time to fix on the hair. So if you are using a normal wig, then you follow the thumb measurement to do this, but if you are using these right here, then you should pretty much just do as I did here, because it's going to make your work a lot nicer and it's going to not leave any trace. So when I got to this point, I stopped with my sewing and continued with my closure. So here's an overview of the wig so far. So to put on your net, you are supposed to put it in a straight motion, just like you see my hands moving. And at this point, it is supposed to fall between your right and your left. So because I'm doing 2 slit closure for this wig, this is how I want it to be. So I'm doing 3 slit closure for this wig, and I went ahead to pin my net on my mannequin head. So typically for every closure wig, there's what we call 4x4. Just in case you haven't heard, it means 4 inches to the back and 4 inches across. So this will help to settle the dispute on how and where your slitting should be and how it should be aligned. So I'm using my scale to calculate 4 inches to the back and 4 inches across. So this is the proper measurement for a closure wig. Here is another trick on how to calculate it. Your middle finger. So I realized my middle finger is about 4 inches. So in case you don't have a tape, you can try it with your middle finger. It works like magic. So I like to draw a tiny section at the back to cover the net area of the hair, and I like to also highlight my 2 other inches. So we have a middle and 2 other. So far, here we have it. I went ahead to clip the hair done so far and went out to cut the excessive part with a scissors. So here is how we do it. I like to stand in the opposite direction facing the net. This helps it go faster. So here's how we go. With my ventilation pin, I insert in a hole and then I put out 2 or 3 strands of hair, and then I just tie it down, just like you see in this video. So here's the trick. You leave in 1 hole each as you go further, because to be honest, Filling up every hole, especially in cases where you're inserting more than 2 strands of hair, will make your closure too full. So in the next line of your net, at the front of the hole where you left initially, you come back and fill that up. So with this trick, we succeed to making a natural wig closure. I proceed with inserting about 2 or 3 strands, then leave a hole and go on. So don't forget guys, in between the lines you left, you fill out, still leaving a hole. Then you come back and fill in between the line again. So as I got to 4 lines in the part where I'm slitting, just like you see in the other side of where I've done so far, I didn't leave any hole. This time around, I went on to fill 1 strand each in every hole. Don't forget guys, 1 strand each in every hole. Do not skip any hole and the 4 parts of where you're slitting your hair. So this is my side pattern. So here I'm not leaving any hole, I'm going 1 strand each to 4 lines close to where I'm parting. So the next part is what I like to call the angular motion. At this point, you are sewing to the side in a downward motion. So here is how I do it. So at this point, we are using our trick, 4 to 5 lines to any slitting part, 1 strand each. So this angular motion trick works effectively on the flexibility of your middle slitting. So at this point, you can either move it right, left, back or front. It moves. Unlike the normal stiff you get from fixing in one direction. So we do the trick we learned earlier, 2 to 3 strands inside of the hair and 4 to 5 lines to any slitting part. You put on 1 strand each. And when you get to the front part in this middle section, you make sure everything you do, you put in 1 strand each. Front part, middle section, 1 strand for every hair, everywhere you fix. So that is it guys. This is how you achieve a perfect natural looking wig closure. Sounds easy, right? Well, I proceeded with highlighting and sewing in. So this is how it should look like. So when I was done, I put on my wig oil and leave-in conditioner, just like the first video, inside or hot water. This time around, it is hotter than a warm water, but not a boiling water. So I went ahead to blow dry it. So here we have it guys. This is our work so far. So try as much as you can not to put on the whole of your net inside the hot water. Hold on the net and just put on the hair in the hot water. So here is how it looks. At this point, I couldn't even believe it was dried, but believe me, it is dried and I am feeling this right now. It is smooth, it looks like hair, it looks like wig, it looks like a human hair. I was still contemplating on what name to give this wig right here. So yeah, in the comment section, just give me a name for my brand and I will just put it up here in my channel. And at this point, I want to believe you have seen the transformation. So I went ahead to sew in my hair net, and here we have it. So I like to sew in after I am done with all my work, because at this point it makes it easier, because sewing in makes it easier and ventilating makes it easier before you sew in. So it's your choice, it's your hair, it's your choice, so make it whatever way. So by the time I sewed it, I just went ahead to sew in the remaining part of the wig which I left earlier at the beginning, and cut out the cap at the back of the net, and that is it. So in the hot water section, I forgot to tell you, I left it in for about 2 to 3 minutes, and I didn't put my nets. Just like I said, hold on your net and put it, because I noticed when you put on your net, it's going to give it a lot looser texture. So that is not what we want now, just like you see it looking too natural here. Yeah, so here we go. Check this out, guys. I love this. So here's my wig after 2 weeks. Believe me, guys, I haven't added any oil since we made this wig. Check this out. 2 weeks later, and it is still fabulous. The front was perfect. I combed it. It's soft, it's smooth, it doesn't even tangle. I moved out with this. I've worn this already, guys. I wore it twice. So I moved out with this and it wasn't tangling at all. And at this point, I was feeling it, guys. It was perfect. It was nice. It is like a must try wig for you. So at this point, I believe you've learned 1 to 2 things on how to make a customized wig like a pro. Well, if you like it so far, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, click the notification bell, leave some comments, like this video, and thank you.